Welcome back to DarkMind Investigations. Tonight's story is a difficult one. Not because of graphic details, but because it shatters a belief many of us hold without question, that certain places and certain people are automatically safe. What you're about to hear is a long-form documentary about trust, authority, and a crime so disturbing that when it finally came to light, an entire town was forced to confront how easily danger can hide in plain sight. This is not a story about strangers lurking in the dark. It is a story about familiarity, about routine, about how evil can wear a smile and earn praise, all while quietly preparing something unthinkable. Listen carefully, because the truth is often much closer than we imagine. Every weekday morning at 7:45, Emily Carter unlocked classroom 3B. She'd arrange the desks into perfect, neat rows, write the date on the whiteboard, and lay out stacks of reading worksheets. By the time the first bell rang, she was already there, smiling. It was a calm, reassuring smile that parents recognized instantly. Emily Carter was a third-grade teacher. She taught 8- and 9-year-olds. They were just old enough to trust adults, and far too young to understand betrayal. For 9 years, Emily worked at Maplewood Elementary, a school known for its safety, community involvement, and high academic scores. Parents specifically requested her class. Administrators praised her dedication. She volunteered for everything: tutoring, holiday events, summer programs. "She treats the kids like her own," one parent once said. But behind that perfect smile, a dark secret was brewing, and no one saw it coming. That statement would later echo in court, heavy, horrifying, and irreversible. Emily lived alone in a small, tidy house just 10 minutes from the school. No spouse, no children, and very few close friends. Her life seemed simple, almost sterile. Her social media was a curated gallery of smiling classroom photos, inspirational teaching quotes, and carefully filtered glimpses of a wholesome existence. But what no one saw was what happened after the screens went dark. Investigators later discovered that Emily was living a double life built entirely on secrecy and control. Like many predators, she didn't just stumble into an opportunity, she designed it. Experts say offenders who target children often seek environments that provide 3 key things: access, trust, and cover. Emily had all 3. A classroom gave her authority, a teacher's title gave her credibility, and society's reluctance to question educators gave her silence. The first warning signs were there, but they were so subtle they were dismissed entirely. Emily seemed like the perfect teacher, just a little reserved. She rarely joined her coworkers for after-work drinks and often stayed late, saying she preferred the quiet of an empty school. When it came to her classroom, she was particular. She'd insist on handling certain tasks herself, even turning away helpful aides with a polite, "I just work better independently." Nobody thought twice about it. But the truth began to surface in a place no one expected: the dark corners of the internet. Cybercrime units were tracking illegal content on encrypted forums when they noticed a specific user. This person was meticulous, demonstrating a chillingly detailed knowledge of children's routines and how to gain their trust. Their language wasn't just disturbing. It was cold, clinical, and almost like a manual. And as investigators dug deeper, the digital trail started leading somewhere terrifyingly close to home. When detectives finally traced the IP address, it led them to a quiet, unassuming suburban street, Emily Carter Street. Law enforcement moved with extreme caution. Every step was slow, methodical. There was zero room for error. Surveillance began immediately, both physical and digital. Her online activity was monitored around the clock, and a clear pattern started to emerge. This wasn't a recent lapse in judgment. It was consistent, deliberate, and had been going on for years. What they uncovered was devastating. Emily had been accessing, collecting, and distributing illegal material involving minors. The files were meticulously organized, categorized by age and behavior. But the most chilling discovery wasn't the files themselves. It was the conversations. In chat logs, Emily detailed her trust-building techniques, explaining how a position of authority silences doubt and how children are conditioned to obey teachers. She never named her school, but the references to her classroom were unmistakable. This wasn't passive. It was predatory. It was intentional. The arrest came early on a Thursday morning. When Emily answered the door, she was calm. No confusion, no resistance. She simply let the officers inside without a word of protest. Her house was immaculate, almost unnervingly, so there was no clutter, no personal warmth, just cold, hard order. Behind a false wall in her home office, detectives discovered what she was hiding: storage drives. Thousands of files documenting years of activity, all carefully concealed. Emily was arrested without incident. By noon, the automated calls started going out from the school district. By evening, the story was everywhere. Maplewood Elementary was shut down. Panicked parents rushed to the school while teachers stood crying in the hallways. Children asked questions no one could answer. How could this happen here? Administrators were at a loss. Emily had passed every single background check, every evaluation. She had never raised a single suspicion. That realization haunted the community far more than the crime itself. Because if she could hide her true nature for so long, who else could? Emily never confessed. In court, she just sat there, silent as prosecutors laid out all the evidence. Digital forensic experts took the stand, detailing the sheer scope of her online activities. Psychologists explained the concept of grooming behavior, how predators can seamlessly blend into trusted roles, how their authority discourages any suspicion, and how the silence of those around them becomes their best protection. Parents testified through tears. Some were filled with guilt, others with rage, and some were left with an unbearable uncertainty, wondering if something had happened to their children that they would never fully know. Emily was ultimately convicted on multiple felony counts and sentenced to decades in prison. But no sentence could ever undo the damage or erase the fear she left behind. Our school put new safeguards in place. Policies were updated and training sessions were held for everyone. But something fundamental was lost in the process, that feeling of absolute, unquestioned safety. Our children learned a hard lesson far too early. Not every smile is genuine. Parents realized that trust without a watchful eye can be a terrible risk. And our entire community came to understand that danger doesn't always announce itself with a menacing look. Sometimes it looks like a helping hand with homework. Sometimes it looks like endless patience. It can even look like a trusted adult kneeling down to tie a child's shoelace. This story isn't meant to scare you. It's a call for awareness. The most dangerous mistake we can make is thinking evil always appears evil. It doesn't. Sometimes it wins awards. Sometimes it holds a position of authority. And sometimes it stands at the front of a classroom, waiting. Thank you for listening to DarkMind Investigations, and don't forget to subscribe.